lovely prince and princesses. So today I am finally going to be putting together a quick video about weird paranormal ghost related experiences that I've had. Before I actually get into the story, there's a few little things I should mention here and there just to kind of clarify, and one shout out. I am doing a quick shout out for my friend's paranormal team called Mitten. You can find them on YouTube. They do have a few videos up right now. They also have Instagram and Facebook. They are a small paranormal group dedicated to going to different places around Michigan and investigating to see if there are any haunted rumors that might be true, if they can find any evidence and stuff like that. So please check them out. They are, honestly, I think they're gonna go pretty far, so please go and support them and check them out. And I'm really hoping maybe one day I can go with them, even though I am such a scaredy cat. So ever since I was little, I've always been interested in weird paranormal things, but I am a huge scaredy cat. I do get scared very easily, but I can definitely wholeheartedly say that I am a skeptic. While I do believe in a lot of stuff, I am very quick to say, okay, what caused that? And I think that a big part of that is because of my dad. 90% of the shows that my dad watches are aliens, Bigfoot, and ghosts. And he wholeheartedly believes in a lot of those things, but he's also very quick to say, okay, no, like that could have been this or this could have happened. And he's always kept me in check to not believe every single thing that you see. Like, the paranormal is a very big thing. Like, so many weird stuff happens throughout the world, and not everything is easily explained, but you should always question it. So first things first is that the house I'm living in now is where I've experienced all of this, but I've lived here since I was about 2 years old. And the first thing I can say from my dad's account is when we first moved into the house, he experienced feeling like somebody was putting their hands on his back and pushed him down our stairway. Now, our stairway is one that isn't like a curvy stairway, but it's like there's a few steps and then a platform, and then it changes directions, and then there's steps, and then there's a platform, and then it changes directions and there's more steps until you're finally at the first floor. And when he was at the very top on the first platform, he felt like somebody pushed him and he fell down the stairs. And this was in the middle of the night when he got up, and he said that he isn't really sure what happened. He just knew that he fell down the stairs. And that could be anything, but that's one of the things that my dad said that he felt like happened when he first moved in here. Now, the first experience that I ever remember happening was when I was in elementary school, and I was in my room and I had a very small TV that was next to my bed. And for whatever reason, I wasn't sitting on the floor and I wasn't sitting on the bed, but I was kind of at the other end of the bed, and I just kind of got sucked into whatever was on TV. I remember walking into my room because I went and did something, came back, and just kind of stood there watching what was happening. And then I kind of just went like this on my bed and like half sat on the floor. I don't know why. But all of a sudden, I heard a noise behind me. And I remember I had just cleaned my room. My whole room was completely clean. And the only thing that was on my floor was a plastic shopping bag. And I remember turning around because I heard a noise, and it was the sound of the bag crinkling as if somebody stepped on it. And I looked and there was a footprint in the bag. I instantly freaked out, because in that not even 2 seconds, like that split second that I heard the noise and I turned my head around, I should have seen what was there, like who was behind me. So I freaked out. I ran into my hallway. I looked around in all the rooms. Nobody was upstairs. I bolted downstairs and I was like, please tell me one of you guys was just upstairs. Like, I didn't hear anybody running around upstairs. I didn't hear anybody run downstairs, but were any of you upstairs? Because somebody just came into my room and stepped on a bag and there's a footprint, and I was just rambling really fast. And they're like, no, everyone's been downstairs. I think one of my brothers wasn't even home. So my dad and I came upstairs and he just chalked it up to being, oh, it was probably just the dog, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, that is a footprint. That's a footprint right there on the bag. That is not a paw print. And the dog would have been Like I would have heard the dog walk into my room, like run upstairs, a little tag jingling, and if I would have turned around, it would have been right there. But my dad just played it off as nothing, and I was sufficiently freaked out. And the footprint didn't match anybody's shoe size in the house currently, because it was bigger than mine, but it was smaller than my dad's. So as most of us 2000s/90s kind of kids, we have almost all had the opportunity or have wanted to buy this, but they're the hanging door beads. No matter what kind of color and design they were, everybody wanted some kind of hanging door beads. And I got some from Limited Too, because that store was the shit when we were little. And I bought these like opaque, shiny pink circle beads to hang from my ceiling right at like the entry of my room, like right past my door. And I had those up, and I from time to time would randomly hear them moving, like multiple times. And before I ever had a laptop, I had, you know, the coveted computer room or the office room, and of course, me being a little computer addict, I was always in that room, which is directly across the hall from my room. So a lot of the times I would be on there playing Neopets and other random things like the Barbie website and crap like that. So my door and the computer door would be open, and all of a sudden I would just hear my beads moving. So my first thought is, who's going into my room? I go, hey, I'm in the office. No reply. Hello, who's in my room? I'm in the office. No reply. So I finally get annoyed because, you know, sometimes parents don't always reply when you first yell to them. So I got up, I walked across the hall into my room, and the beads are just swaying by themselves. And this happened on multiple occasions. Like specifically when I wasn't in the room, and I would either come upstairs and it would look like somebody just walked into my room, but there was nobody up here, or I would be in the office and I would hear them moving. So I got really creeped out. Since it happened so many times, I finally took the beads, and the way that my door entry area is to my room is it's kind of weird, because when you open the door, you're actually facing a small wall, so you have to kind of like look to the right a bit and kind of walk sideways. You don't really walk directly forward into my room. So I have these two walls that are right there. So I was able to take the beads and kind of separate them into like fancy curtains in a way, and kind of like tape them off on the wall. So I did that so I could still have them but not hear them move and be creeped out, because I loved them so much I didn't want to get rid of them. A few times this happened. I don't even know when the last time it happened. I really think that most of my weird things happening stopped by freshman year of high school. A lot of it happened when I was in elementary and middle school. There have been a few occasions where I have been in my room watching TV, on the computer, doing whatever, just in my room, and suddenly I would hear a knock at my bedroom door. And I would say, come in, and no reply. I'd be like, hello, you can come in, who's there, blah blah blah. And there would be nothing. Also, I'm really creeped out because right as I said that, I looked over and I saw this little like bag of lavender that I have hanging on my door to start to shake. To be fair, that could honestly be my my heat turning on and going across the walls the way that it does, because it affects my door sometimes. What was I saying? Oh yeah, knocks on my door. I've had multiple times where that's happened, and it's never more than one knock. And the number that I've heard in a lot of shows, because I do watch a lot of paranormal creepy things with ghosts and stuff like that. Bless you again, oh my god. One of the main numbers to look out for is 3, because the 3 knocks, or 3 whatever, 3 o'clock in the morning is witching hour, and that kind of stuff is supposed to be very, very like related to demons and the devil and stuff like that. I've never had any knocking. And I don't think I've ever even had a double knock. I've only ever had one knock on my door. And that's happened a few different times. I want to say a handful of times at random occasions, and none of them were ever super significant to where something extra happened after that. I just remember every time it happened, I would get annoyed, I would get up, and I'll go and open my door. And again, nobody's upstairs with me. I'm alone. Nobody is, sometimes no one's even home. Why do they have to keep sneezing? And I just remember always opening the door and no one's there, and I would be like, just scared that it happened. I hate where my room is because you just get piping noises. My walls are thin and you hear everybody sneezing and talking. There have been a few occasions where I have been in my bed about to go to sleep, or I'm either, or I'm even like laying down in my bed and my TV's on and I'm watching TV, like just kind of eventually going to fall asleep, and my bed has kind of shaking a little bit. It's more so like not violently shaking. It's kind of more of like a light vibrate, like the whole bed just kind of moves for a few seconds and then it stops. And I know for a fact that it's not me being in that weird half asleep, half awake phase, because I know what that feels like and I know what my body does, and I don't experience weird things when I'm in that state. I honestly, like, weirdly, my body will like take deep breaths in and then make really weird noises out. I'll just be like, like literally, I don't know why my body does that, but that's what kind of happens when I'm at that weird half asleep, half awake point and I'm starting to go to sleep. So I know that I'm awake when the times that that's happened. Again, this is one of those things that's only happened a few times. It's never anything super violent. It's just been like a quick little like vibrating almost in my bed. There was a time when my family went up north, and I think, I don't remember if I was home alone. I know this happened within the last couple of years. I want to say within the last 4 years maybe, I don't know, but I know that everyone went up to my cottage for the weekend, and I can't remember if my mom was home or not, or if it was just me, but I woke up in the middle of the night just out of nowhere, and I swear it was like 3, 4 in the morning, something like really late, like past midnight, to just this really loud sound downstairs. And I was like, what is that? And I just like run downstairs, and the radio that we had sitting on our counter was on, and on at full blast, like full volume. And there's no way that if my mom was even home that she would have turned on the radio, because she was also sleeping when I woke up. And I used to be a heavy sleeper, but I'm not anymore. I will wake up to almost any little noise or sound. My kitchen is right under my bedroom, so a lot of times when there's a loud noise in the kitchen, I hear it. So I was so creeped out, but I was also half awake and in that weird half awake panic mode that happens when you wake up from loud noises. So I went over there, I slapped my hand on it to turn it off, and went back upstairs and went to bed. And I remember waking up the next morning like thinking, did I dream that? Like, there's no way that I dreamt that. That was so weird. And when I went downstairs to look at the radio, like, it was plugged in and everything, and we hadn't used it at all, like probably in over a month. So there was no reason why it was plugged in the first place. So the next story is actually an account from my one brother, that this happened actually at our cottage, because we have a vacation cottage up in the Thumb area of Michigan. So I guess he was in our guest room, because up there we have like our like parents' room and then the guest room on the second floor, and he was in our guest room, and I guess he was like awake and he was kind of having a hard time falling asleep, and somebody walked up the stairway and like I think either opened and closed the door or closed the door. And now when I say this door is hard to open and close, I mean that it takes force, because for some reason in the guest bedroom, the door is just too tall, like too big, and there's no space between the floor, like the carpet, and the door. So it takes a lot to move this door. Like it takes a decent amount of force. Like it doesn't just swing open. It can. Like if you hit the door, it doesn't really, like, it won't swing open. Like you have to actually continuously push or hold the handle to open it. I guess something came upstairs and like closed the door, or like open and close the door, and my brother's first thought was, oh, it's just dad coming upstairs to go to bed because he fell asleep watching TV downstairs. But then he remembered that everybody was already in bed, so he got really creeped out and didn't know what to think because everybody was already asleep. There was another occasion where I was home alone, and I remember that the boys in my family went up north for the weekend. I think they went hunting, and I know that this was in middle school because I remember I was using my mom's laptop before I had my own, and I was just in the kitchen and I was on the laptop, and my mom went out, and I think she was at work or shopping. I don't really remember. I just remember I was home alone, and I was on the laptop like singing and dancing, having fun, listening to music, doing whatever, and out of nowhere in the corner of my eye I saw that one of our cabinet doors was open. And I don't know why it was open, it just was. I guess somebody left it open, but I look over and it was moving, like vibrating, like shaking, and it almost looked like as if somebody was behind it. If you like held the door and then knocked at it, that's what it kind of looked like, that kind of force, that it was like almost like something was hitting it, but it was still kind of staying in the same place. It's kind of hard to like explain, but that's what the door looked like it was doing, and it wasn't making like any noise, and I wasn't hearing any noise, but I got really creeped out. Like my whole being just sunk into my stomach, and I was like, what is that? Like I freaked out, and I instantly like froze. And after a few minutes of just staring at that area, just waiting for something else to happen, somebody to jump out and like fucking scare the shit out of me, or to see a ghost or something, finally got up and I bolted into the family room. And I remember picking up my cell phone, or not even, you know what, actually I don't think I had a cell phone at that time, or I might have and I just didn't use it, I don't remember. I grabbed a phone and I called my friend Allie, who lived around the corner from me, and I called her and told her what happened, and she was just as freaked out. But then she told her mom, and her mom called my mom, and then they started to fucking yell at me for no damn reason. I was like, why are you yelling at me? I'm home alone and I'm freaking out because I just saw something move and I don't understand what's happening. And my dog wasn't home either. Like he went up north with my dad and my brothers because they went hunting, and our dog is a hunting dog. So it's not like I could use that as an excuse, like, oh, it moved because the dog. And it's not next to a vent, it's not next to a window, and it's not next to a front door. It is literally a cabinet in the middle of my kitchen that moved on its own. So I didn't know what to do. So they just started yelling at me, and I'm like, I don't know what you expect me to do. And then my friend Allie and her mom came over because my mom was out and she was all pissed off that I didn't call her or something. I don't really know. I remember just not knowing what to do, and they came over and they came and got me, and she also came into the kitchen and tried to just explain away the whole thing that happened. Like she just was like, oh, it's nothing, it's probably just moving. Like I don't even remember what she said. This happened so long ago. I was just so annoyed that she didn't believe me. Like I hate and also hated it as a kid when someone's going to take something and explain it away when there actually is no physical answer to why something is moving or why something happened. Because I will think of every possible reason of how something could have like moved or just happened, but there was no explanation. And the last thing I'm going to say is something that I find very weird, and I honestly forgot about it, like 100% forgot about this until last night when I was writing down all of the things I wanted to write down so that way I wouldn't forget anything. My mom went to some kind of party, and they had a psychic there, and she went up to her and had a conversation with her. And the only thing that I remember that the psychic told her was something about me, because I don't remember any of the other stuff that she told me she said. I just remember it had to do with our house and me. Is that my mom is also a chatty Cathy. She doesn't know how to not talk about herself and her life. And talking to a psychic, you really don't want to give them everything to work with, because another thing is that people who aren't actually psychics, there is a way to talk to someone and find out little things here and there and say generic things, anything in someone's life, and make them believe that you're psychic. It's very easy to do. There's actually like videos on it online that you could look up, but I know that this could have easily happened because my mom just kept talking and talking and talking, and the lady just took everything that she possibly could to talk about it. But anyway, she told my mom that our house is protected by a aura or field of the fairy type, of the fairy realm, and I am a part of that, and that they protect me as well. But I don't really know how much of that I believe, because I have always loved fairies and fantasy creatures since I was little, so I feel like my mom could have easily told this psychic just everything about her life and everything about her kids. Just been like, oh yeah, my daughter loves fantasy things and blah blah blah. So this lady could have easily taken, oh, she likes fantasy things, I'm gonna say that she likes fairies, let's make this about fairies, and blah 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 blah. But I digress. You never know. You never really know. But that's what a psychic told my mom once, and I thought that was interesting, but it's also kind of like, you know, if you are here, fairies, I don't think you're doing a very good job of protecting me, because I'm not really going very far in life. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention was that in general, there is a big chance that some of the smaller things that have happened, like the knocks on my door, the beads moving, little things like that, could have easily been my grandpa, because my grandpa spent the last couple months of his life living with us in this house before he passed, and it could have easily been him reaching out or like trying to say like hello, goodbye, something like that. Like, we really don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that's ever really happened to me. I'm sorry if you guys were expecting like, I saw an apparition of a ghost and it levitated me and then slapped me across the face kind of story with huge suspense and drama. No, it was very like little things here and there. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!